Are you looking for the best laptops? In this video we will look at some of the best laptops. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Apple MacBook Pro 14 cubic meters, 2024. The best laptop we've tested is the Apple MacBook Pro 14 M3, 2024. This premium mobile workstation has a sturdy build, a compact design, and an incredible battery life. It provides an excellent user experience with its sharp 120Hz mini LED display, spacious keyboard, and gigantic, easy-to-use touchpad. Equipped with Apple's new M3 Pro/Max SoCs, it can handle even the most demanding workloads. The new chips bring better performance, compared to the M2, as well as ray tracing and increased memory support up to 128 GB. The display is suitable for color-critical work like photo and video editing, as it has a wide color gamut and superb factory calibration. The Apple MacBook Pro 16 M3, 2024, is also a good choice if you need more screen space and don't mind paying more. It's the same device but with better sounding speakers. A great Windows alternative is the Dell XPS 16, 2024. This 16-inch mobile workstation is considerably bigger than its Apple counterpart and is also a premium laptop with a great user experience. Available with Intel Core Ultra 7 or 9 CPUs and up to an RTX 4070 GPU, 64 GB of RAM, and 4 TB of storage, this laptop is well suited to resource-intensive workloads like programming and 3D modeling. Unlike the MacBook Pro, the RAM and storage are user-replaceable. Number 2. Apple MacBook Air 13 2024. If you only need a laptop for light productivity and media consumption, get the Apple MacBook Air 13 2024. This 13.6-inch model is thin and lightweight, making it easy to carry around, and like the Apple MacBook Pro 14 M3 2024 above, it feels incredibly well built, sporting a full aluminum chassis. Working on this laptop feels amazing. It has a sharp, bright IPS display, a spacious keyboard, and a gigantic haptic touchpad. Apple's M3 SoC can easily handle light productivity tasks and even some light video editing and 3D graphics. Plus, it's remarkably power efficient, resulting in 11 to 12 hours of battery life. The port selection isn't great. It only has 2 USB-C/Thunderbolt 3 ports. It can output to 2 external displays but only with the lid closed. The Apple MacBook Air 15, 2024, is also a good choice if you want a bigger screen. It comes with better sounding speakers but costs more. For Windows users, we recommend the HP Spectre X36014, 2024. Like the MacBook Air, it provides a great user experience with its all-aluminum chassis, comfortable keyboard, and responsive touchpad. Unlike the MacBook, this laptop is a 2-in-1 convertible, so you can use it as a tablet with touchscreen and pen support. Its 120Hz 2.8K OLED display is sharper and smoother, although dimmer than the Apple's Retina display. Also nice to have are the 4K webcam, support for the latest Wi-Fi 7 standard, and a wider port selection, including 1 USB-A port, 2 USB-C ports, and a 3.5mm mic/headphone jack. Number 3. HP Pavilion Aero 13 2024. Our mid-range pick is the HP Pavilion Aero 13, 2024, also a 13-inch ultra-portable. It's configurable with AMD's Zen 4 Ryzen CPUs, which are more than adequate to handle light, general productivity tasks, and even some moderately demanding workloads like programming. Display options include an FHD Plus and a QHD Plus IPS panel. Both get bright enough to combat glare in well-lit settings. You get a 1440p webcam with facial recognition support for quick logins, as well as a wide port selection with 4 USBs and a true HDMI 2.1 port. Battery life is great at around 10 hours of light use. You can charge the laptop via USB-C, so you won't have to deal with a proprietary charger. Unfortunately, build quality is a pretty significant step down from our picks above and the biggest compromise for this model's more budget-friendly price. Its aluminum and plastic chassis flexes a fair amount, and the device as a whole feels hollow and cheap. Also, the finish scratches easily from everyday use. Another minor complaint is the touchpad. It's plastic and doesn't track continuous inputs all that well, like when dragging and dropping items across a long distance. WQXGA IPS display. Enjoy better color accuracy and wider viewing angles with the widescreen Ultra Extended Graphics Array display, and a high resolution of 1920 by 1200 fit into a 16:10 aspect ratio that lets you see more of your content with less scrolling. AMD Ryzen 5 8640U processor, premium experiences, trusted performance, incredible battery life, and the power of AMD Ryzen. Number 4. ASUS Vivobook 16M1605 2024. The best budget laptop we've tested is the ASUS Vivobook 16M1605 2024. The 16-inch ultra-portable feels well built for the price, and it isn't overly bulky for a 16-inch device, so it's still easy to carry around. You can configure it with an AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU, which are more than adequate to handle productivity tasks like text processing, web browsing, spreadsheets, and video playback. As for the RAM, it has 8GB soldered onto the motherboard in a SODIMM slot, so if you can't find a model with 16GB, you can always get an 8GB model and upgrade it yourself. Battery life is okay at around 8 hours of light use, so depending on your workload, you may have to plug it in for a quick charge. This model delivers a pretty good user experience overall. It has a spacious full-size keyboard with a numpad, which is handy for those working with lots of numbers, as well as a large and responsive touchpad. You get Wi-Fi 6E wireless connectivity, a fingerprint sensor for quick logins, and a decent port selection with 3 USB-As, a USB-C, and an HDMI. Unfortunately, the USB-C doesn't support video output, so you'll have to rely on the HDMI to connect an external display. Our main gripe with this laptop is the display. Its 1080p resolution looks reasonably sharp at this screen size, however, it's quite dim, as it only reaches 250 candelas per square meter of brightness, so visibility may be an issue in well-lit rooms. It also looks a bit washed out due to its narrow color gamut. Number 5. Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3i Chromebook 14 2024. The Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3i Chromebook 14 2024 is our best cheap laptop pick. This compact model is a great option if you only need a simple device for light productivity tasks like text processing, web browsing, and video playback. The Core i3 configuration, paired with an FHD display, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB of storage, is regularly on sale through Lenovo. The cheaper configurations with an Intel N100 or N200 CPU and or 4GB of RAM are fine if you have an extremely light workload, just know that they'll get bogged down quickly when multitasking. As for the display, avoid the 768p TN display and get a model with a 1080p, touch-sensitive IPS panel. Not only does it look sharper, but it also has better viewing angles and color reproduction. Unfortunately, the keyboard feels slightly mushy, and the touchpad is small and sometimes unresponsive. Its 1080p webcam is excellent, which is surprising for a budget-friendly Chromebook. The battery lasts around 13 hours of light use and charges over USB-C. Lastly, ensure you can do everything through a Chrome browser or Android app because Chrome OS is limited in the type of applications you can install.